Hi, this is Patty with Sleepy Glen Homestead. Today I'm going to bring you along and I'm going to show you how I make my homemade bread and my homemade vinegar using basic ingredients that everybody has in their home. It's very, very easy to make. The bread recipe that I use, I'll put it down below so that you can do the same thing. And right now what I am doing is I have my big metal bowl for my KitchenAid, and I have hot water in it. The reason why I do that is because when I add my milk and my hot water, my cold milk and my hot water into the bowl, I don't want the bowl to take away that heat away from my yeast. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to get this done. So my bowl has had hot water in it. You know, while I'm getting my milk and my water together. Oops, let's do it this way. I add a half a cup of milk and then a half a cup of hot water. Okay. And I'm just going to get that in my bowl. And I pre-make all my dry ingredients. And this has 2 teaspoons of yeast, 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. And it's organic sugar. I like a little bit more sugar. I like my bread a little sweeter. So I'm just going to set that in there. Okay. Okay, there might be dogs barking in the background because Keith just got home from fishing and the dogs are excited. They haven't seen him all day. So I use my electric scale and I measure everything out in grams, okay? And when you put your bowl on it, it should tear it out. So I have 0 grams right now. I use King Arthur's whole wheat flour, and I do about, it's not exact, but I'm doing 75 grams of whole wheat flour. The recipe from King Arthur for this bread calls for 360 grams of flour. I've already got 75. In my area, it's pretty humid, so I usually go up to 380, and that usually gives me a very soft loaf. But I'm going to show you the trick in making your loaf super soft. I have 390. I need to take some of this out. There's 382, 380 grams. Okay, and I want to mix my wheat with my white for no other reason than it makes me feel better. Okay. Now I'm just going to add this to my mixture here. Not all of it, just a lot of it. Whoops. And I'm going to use this attachment to just get it mixed up really well. Okay. Okay, I have this mixed up really well. There's no lumps or anything, and then just clean off your spatula. Okay, now I'm going to add the rest of my flour. And I'm going to use my dough hook now. And when I get this all mixed up and all of my flour is no longer dry, I'm going to shut the machine off. I'm going to cover this up and I'm going to let it set for 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll come back to you when I'm at that point. How many people caught that? She didn't add any oil or butter. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of olive oil to this. And you know what? This is not the first time I forgot to add my oil. If you forget to add your oil and you are on that 10-minute need at the end, it's not too late to add your oil. I've done it. And it comes out just fine. Okay, there's my 4 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, I'm going to set this on the number 2. You don't want to hurt this. Okay, all of my flour is incorporated, so I'm just gonna turn it off. And I'm gonna scrape the sides real good. Okay. Now you can see it's still kind of sticky, but that's all right. I want to give that whole wheat flour a chance to absorb the moisture. So I'm just gonna cover this up with a towel like that. And let's go make some vinegar. All right, so while we're waiting for the bread to do its thing for the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna make some vinegar. I'm just gonna start off with 2 apples because I don't want these to go to waste. I fed a couple of the pigs the other day because I thought, oh no, they're going to waste. Nobody's eating them. We try to do everything with our food here. We try not to let anything go to waste. Here's some apple vinegar that I previously made. I don't have another container this big, but I do have this monster. So vinegar is super easy to make. All it takes is any kind of fruit, as long as it's got like a pectin in it, and you can use seeds and all. And I'm just gonna cut these up. I made some vinegar using Granny Smith apples. I was making apple pie, and so I just saved all the apple skins and the core and made some vinegar. Oh, look at how interesting this is. These apples were actually starting to, the seeds are growing roots. I should try to plant that because I'm crazy like that. I think I'm going to. How cool is that? Here's another one. That is really cool. I'm gonna try to grow an apple tree. And I don't even know what kind of apples these were. Probably pink ladies or something. Okay. All right, I've got my apples, I've got my water, and I'm just gonna start off with 1 cup of sugar. Add that in there. I'm gonna give it a big stir. And here's the big trick. Here's the big secret to making homemade vinegar. I'm gonna lightly cover this because I want it to be able to breathe. Okay? I don't want this lid to go flying off because this is gonna create a lot of gases. Every day, I'm gonna mix it up again, and it doesn't matter, you know, if it's starting to grow mold or anything like that, but eventually all this fruit will sink to the bottom. I will probably add a little bit more water in a week and add another cup of sugar. I wanna keep feeding my vinegar. It's just like making wine, except wine, you don't want the air. Vinegar, you do want the air, okay? So I'm just gonna set this over in the corner where I can see it every day. Give it a stir, maybe add water, maybe add a little bit more sugar, and that's all there is to making your very own vinegar. Now, what are some uses for vinegar? I'll tell you what, you can clean your countertops with this. You can use it as a hair rinse, like the previous video that I just put out. I made some coconut, I think it was coconut milk hair bars. And if you've ever tried making your own shampoo, your hair dries out really, really bad from the lye. But if you use a vinegar rinse, it helps your hair and it makes it shiny. And you can also use this vinegar and oil salad dressing. You can use this vinegar to marinate your meats, marinate vegetables, whatever you want to do. What you cannot do with this vinegar is you cannot can with it because it doesn't have enough acidity like the vinegar that you buy at the store. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's go back over to the bread and see what's going on. All right, my dough has been sitting here for about 10 minutes and maybe a little bit longer because there's people coming and going. It's still a little tacky. You can still see that, you know, it's sticking to my fingers. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set this on number 2 and I'm just gonna let it knead for 10 minutes. Now, while it's kneading, my dough is gonna be sticking to the bottom a little bit and I'm gonna stop it and I'm gonna scrape it up in there, and I'll show you that too. To get it into a firmer ball. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're about halfway through this the 10-minute knead process, and my dough is really sticking to the sides. You can see it, so I'm just gonna pull it together, scrape it down. You can see it's still kind of sticky, but we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, 5 more minutes. Okay, it's been 5 more minutes. You can see that my dough is still kind of sticking down here to the bottom and it's a little tacky. That's okay, because we're gonna flour up our hands. So I just got some flour off to the side here. It'll just make sure that the dough is not gonna stick to my fingers too much. I'm going to scrape this real good. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of flour on the outside and I'm just going to kind of work it a little bit. I have to add a little bit more. Okay. See, this isn't sticky, but everything underneath here is. So I'm trying to fold it all in. So I'm going to add just a little bit more flour here on the bottom side, just so that my hands don't keep sticking to it. Okay, fold, tuck, fold, and I'm pinching it underneath because I want to make it nice and tight. And this is a really soft dough. Okay, I'm not going to overwork it. I can have fun and keep playing with it. All right. I have a greased bowl here. I'm going to set it top side down first, flip it over, and I just poured a little bit of olive oil in here. Okay, and the reason why you do this, if you make bread, you know, you just want to keep your dough from drying out. That's all. Okay. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap. I'm going to put it in my oven on proof for probably about 2.5 to 3 hours. If you don't have an oven with a proof, start your microwave up for 2 minutes with nothing in it. Let it go and then stick your bowl inside the microwave. That'll be enough heat. Or just if it's a nice warm day, stick it on your stove, you know, just let it hang out. If your house is cold and drafty, put it in a corner, put it on top of your refrigerator, whatever you can do to keep your dough warm, okay? So I'll be back in a few hours. Okay, it's been a couple of hours and now I can punch my dough down and get it set inside this form pan. If you're looking for a good loaf pan, I highly suggest using cast iron. I did not season it, it came seasoned. I have not had a loaf stick to my pan. I can pull the loaf out of the oven, give it a jiggly shaky shake, and it pops right out. So if you're having troubles getting your bread out of your loaf pan, best investment. They're like 20 bucks. And for me, it was worth it. Okay, so I'm just going to add my oil and just dust the bottom, dust the sides. I hope you can see this and I'm not getting in your way. Okay, I've got this all oiled down, and now we're gonna get working on this. I'm gonna reuse this plastic, so I'm not gonna throw it away. Just gently, if you're new to bread making, just gently punch down your dough. Scrape it out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna flatten it out about the size of my pan here, okay? Now the reason why you flatten it out is because you're trying to get the air bubbles out. You don't want air bubbles. Otherwise you end up with a big hole in your bread. And then when I roll my bread up, and this is kind of sticking, this is a really, really soft loaf. So it might give me a little challenge to roll it up. Now it's going to be a whole lot longer when I'm done with this than my pan, and I'll show you what you can do to fix that. Really simple fix. Okay, I'm just going to start pinching this together, okay, because I'm going to seal it. Now, that's way too long for my pan, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to poke the ends in, poke them in really good. And pinch it, poke this end in, and pinch it closed, okay? You are the creator of your loaf of bread. It does not have to look perfect like you bought it from the grocery store. Mine have come out with all sorts of personalities and character. So I just want to get it the size of my pan. That's pretty good. It's a little big here, so see if we can fix that. Okay, my seam side, I'm gonna flip it over and put it into the pan if it doesn't give me any problems. Ooh, there we go. I can make that look a little bit better. Okay, that's all there is to it. Here's my loaf in my pan. I'm gonna cover it up. Now I still have my oven on proof, so I'm gonna put it in my proofing oven for about an hour. I'm gonna come back and check on it, and I want it just about an inch above the rim here. When it gets to an inch or just rising above it, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna turn my oven on to 350. And when it's done preheating, I'm gonna put it in the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes at 350 when the top of your bread gets right here. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes and I just came in the house to check on my bread and it's ready to go in the oven. See that? So I've got my oven preheating to 325. I will remove the plastic and put it inside. I'm sorry, when I said 325, that's my conventional bake. If you have conventional bake, you want to bake it at 325. If you have just a regular oven, you want to bake it at 350 and for 30 minutes, whether you're conventional or regular. Okay, so I will come back to you when this bread is done. Okay, my bread is done. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to get it out of these loaf pans. So Just gonna give it a little shake. There you have it. Easy. So I'm telling you, if you have any troubles getting your bread out of your loaf pan, get those cast iron ones. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, there's my loaf. I'll come back when I cut it. Alrighty, bread is done. And let's see what it looks like on the inside. There you go. It's very spongy. Okay, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe for us. We appreciate your support. And tell your friends about it, share the video, and let me know how it goes while you're baking your bread. And if you make vinegar and you have a secret recipe or a favorite recipe, leave a comment below. Thanks a lot. Take care. God bless.